there was an interesting event that took place, and I received this news story this week, and here's what it read. The leader of USA Track and Field said the Federation will conduct a comprehensive review of the way it trains and coaches its relay teams after the men's and women's 400-meter teams each blew medal chances by dropping the baton in Olympic qualifying. Doug Logan, CEO, said he has received a number of emails from fans saying the dropped batons in both relays Thursday were reflective of a lack of preparation, lack of professionalism, and of leadership, in quotes. That's pretty strong, reflective of lack of preparation, lack of professionalism, and lack of leadership. I agree, Logan wrote Friday. Dropping a baton isn't bad luck, it's bad execution. Responsibility for the relay debacle, listen to this, lies with many people and many groups, from administration to coaches to athletes. All of this happened when Davis Patton and Tyson Gay, in the men's exchange on the final around the lap for qualification in the lead, dropped the baton. Then it gets worse, because they said that Patton was not present at the U.S. track team's training camp, where 2 full practices were dedicated to baton passing. Then the women. Tori Edwards, Lauren Williams bobbled the last exchange in the women's race. And the last line of this news release, Logan said, "We can be a much better team, and we will be." And you say, well, why are we talking about that here this morning at Hope Church? And the reason is this. Because notice who was responsible for the debacle. Quite a word, isn't it? Say that with me. And they're a good word. The responsibility lied with the coaches and the athletes. And so as I stand here today and I talk with David and I talk with Mike and I talk with Teresa, as the coaches, we are looking at the athletes. And there is something very, very important today for us. And that is that we do not drop the baton. That we hand the baton off smoothly. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's interesting because when you look at Scripture, you see that the Olympics were really a very, very important thing. They were a very, very important thing because you need to help me there, guys. Somehow we've ended up in the wrong place. But I want you to see something that's in Scripture. And here's what it says. Read it with me. Read it out loud. You've all been what? And you've seen the... You've seen them race. And everyone... But what? One wins. So run to what? All good athletes train hard. They do it for what? A gold medal that will what? But you're after one that's how long? Eternally. I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No what? I'm staying alert and in top condition. I'm not going to get what? Telling everyone else about it, and then what? Something here that Paul is telling us, and he's telling us from the Olympic example. Because the Olympics were huge when this was written, and the runners, it was an interesting thing that we've just come through this Olympic and today's the closing, and we love the opening, we love the closing, we love all the events, but this is something that is as old as Scripture. It's been happening all these years, and Paul says if we're not careful, we can get sloppy, we can nap, and we can miss it. Well, what does that mean, miss it? What is he talking about? It's this passing of the baton. It's this passing of the baton that he's talking about. Now, there's a couple things here that are really interesting that I think for us, and it's this. One is that we have to look very, very clearly at this important, very, very important event of run to win. Say that with me. Go ahead, say it again. We are to what? Let me tell you what Mr. Logan said before he received all these emails. He was asked about the dropping of the baton by the U.S. team, and here's what he said. He said, we picked the fastest runners for this race, and we do that because we want to win, and we don't really work as hard on the passing baton skills as we do picking fast runners. Now notice when he released the press release, he thought that through a little bit. Because all of us need to run to win. We need to look to finish the race and to accomplish this life of living for Christ. And we need to look for the eternal rewards. That's what Paul is saying. But he is saying something else. He's saying that there are some things that can go wrong in this race, and that's exactly what they discovered, was that it's not just a run to win, but I want you to see something else here. We have to pass the baton. We have to pass the baton. Well, what does that mean, we pass the baton? What does that really mean? Well, here's what it means. Look at the verses right before this, and read them with me right out loud. Even though what? I'm free of the demands and expectations of everyone, I have voluntarily become a what? Servant to any and all in order to what? Paul says, I want you to know that I limit my life and I do things even though I don't have to. I can just run this race and try to win the prize, but there is more to it than just running this race and trying to win the prize. There are some things that I need to do to reach religious people and non-religious people. Meticulous moralists. How many have met some of those meticulous moralists? And loose-living immoralists. Republicans and Democrats. I don't care what we call them. Paul calls them those who live and say that they are moralists, and those who live very loosely, whatever the brand is they put on themselves. Whether they're churched or unchurched. Whether they're Christian or non-Christian.